Conservative peer and friend of Boris Johnson. Lovely man. Lord Marland, good morning, sir. How are you?
Good morning.
Welcome.
I'm a bit nervous about you calling me a friend of Boris Johnson.
All right.
I would be too.
I was a minister with Norman in the coalition. He was right. It was a very good government.
Accomplice of Boris Johnson. Lord Marland,
well,
thank you.
I wouldn't say that. I'd definitely not say that. Thank you very much. Kind of you.
Thank you for joining us. We're trying to get us...
We'll have to rewrite that opening line.
No, off the top of my head. Listen, on an interesting point, we decided today we wanted really to get response, didn't we, from Rishi's speech. We spoke to David Davis, a Northern MP, Norman Baker, they're a Liberal Democrat. You're a Tory Lord. Did his speech yesterday to you feel like it was visionary, a clear new pitch, setting him apart from, in his words, the last 30 years? And I guess more importantly, do you think it will make any difference to your party, which is trailing in the polls?
I think the decision he's made on HS2 is a tough decision and the right one. And of course, everything else that he said became slightly irrelevant because all the attention was on HS2. I think my take from the conference was actually it was a fairly united front bench in that there wasn't posturing for or backbiting that there often is at Tory party conferences, which was a very good thing. I think Rishi has been a very safe pair of hands, and I think does stand a chance of getting elected if he is prepared to make a series of tough decisions, get the economy right back on the track, and bring himself out as a sort of tough decision maker, which is what we've been desperate for in government for quite a while.
Lord Marland, something we haven't really spoken about today is Rishi Sunak's pledge to change the way we have A-levels and T-levels in this country. He wants people to be studying maths for a lot longer. We knew about that already, but also having a broader range of subjects. And yet teachers are on strike. Schools are collapsing because they've got concrete that doesn't stand the test of time. Is changing our curriculum for 16 to 18-year-olds really such a priority at this time?
Well, it's not my special subject. I'm better on the performance of Man United or something like that than schools, to be frank with you. Actually, I look around the schools and I don't know about you, but I see actually a lot of schools have had huge investment in them. The academies are a very prosperous thing and have been a good initiative. That was a Labour and a Conservative initiative, cross-party, really. I think the schools seem much more prosperous than they were. I think it's a shame the teachers are striking. I think it's a shame everyone's striking. It's the last thing we need at this time of trouble in the country, financial difficulty. As to the merits of changing the curriculum or not, I leave that to the experts. I always think change, you've got to be very careful with it, particularly as you rightly say, there's been so much going on in the education area. So, I thought that was rather a sideshow in a sense.
Well, one gets the feeling, this is just an opinion that I sort of garnered from speaking to people last night. There's people saying, oh, it's really brave. Sunak was really brave. I mean, smoking is brave, and A-levels are brave, and HS2's brave. And there are others saying, nah, it's too late. It's 12 months to get an election. I want to put to you something else that's been circulating this morning, Lord Marland. Rumours that Dominic Cummings, the man who went for a drive, is back in the picture. Apparently, in number 10, this is only a rumour, things have been so bad in terms of Rishi's polling numbers that they have reached out to Cummings. Now, listen, everybody knows the pantomime villain that is Dominic Cummings. Could this be true? Could he be making a secretive comeback out through the front door with a cardboard box for Boris and in through the garden gate with Rishi? What do you reckon?
Well, it'll be one for those Christmas shows, won't it? Pantomime, I think, is the word we want. I very much hope not. I think he's a very destructive character, as has been shown. I doubt whether he's Rishi's kind of guy. He's certainly not Boris's kind of guy anymore, that's for sure.
Interesting point there. I think he's probably at it, don't you? I don't trust Cummings at all.
And just really quickly, Lord Marland, how much of a threat do you think the right of the Tory party are right now? You said earlier that there wasn't much outrage from backbenchers, etc. It just certainly didn't come across to us like that.
Lettuce Liz was fated when she arrived.
Lettuce Liz was extremely popular. Yeah. People such as the New Conservatives, etc., really putting a lot of pressure on Rishi to move even further right in the run-up to the general election. What's your take on that?
Well, I think the core to this is the country going to be better off with a lower taxation, a lower inflation, lower cost of living and economy, rather than the high tax, high regulation economy we've got at the moment? And as a businessman, as well as a friend of Boris Johnson and David Cameron, by the way, who I'm seeing in a few minutes, as a businessman, you know, it's very hard to carry out business in this country at the moment because of the excessive regulation, because of the excessive tax that we're now paying. And so many Conservatives feel that we should have a lower tax, lower regulation economy. And in my view, that is the Brexit dividend, which we're not so far getting. So I think it is inevitable that this becomes a part of a party conference where, you know, debate happens on these issues. It remains to be seen whether what's happening at the moment. But I don't think Rishi is going to get elected unless he can show there is a Brexit dividend, that taxation is on the way down, and that we do reform regulation.
Couldn't agree with you more. Now, you started, Lord Marland, I consider you a friend. You said there are certain things that I won't talk about, but one of them is Manchester United. Final question, Lord Marland.
Yes,
you have to be honest. What a terrible start to the season. 6 losses in 10. You must be doubting yourself as a Man United fan. Very quickly.
Have you seen a grown man cry, Jeremy?
Yes, we'll do that off air. Lord Marland, thank you, my friend.
Thank you so much for joining us.